go do something. And he's like, no, she's going to bite me. And I was just like,
she a zombie now?
Right. Did you know our acronym stands for the Chinese Communist Party?
Oh, yeah, it does.
Did you know that?
Welcome to the CCP.
Yo, don't get
They
us
start
flagged.
playing like the Chinese anthem in the background.
How does it go?
Huh? Anything I say right now will sound racist.
Yeah, okay, never mind. Just don't do it.
Welcome back to the Cousin
Connection podcast.
aka known as the CCP.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Speaking of China, actually, yeah, TC Sign is a guy on TikTok. He like makes really funny TikToks where he talks about like the things that they can make. He's just really good personality. Yeah,
I'll look him up.
Yeah, honestly, like Chinese like influencers in general have been stepping up their game, man. They've been reaching out to the Western markets a lot better now.
Whatever happened to that app that all the Americans went to like 2 months ago?
Oh, what was it called again?
Red?
Something? Was it called Red something? See how fast they made us forget?
I know. What was it called?
It's propaganda, man. The West.
I gotta look it up.
Red Note?
Red Note? Red Note is something else, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know what? It's called Red Note.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah. Yo, shout out to the AI overview in Google. It literally summarizes everything for you.
That's actually like really bad for websites because it like basically removes the reason for a lot of people to go and actually like look at those websites.
That's true.
And then those websites lose out on the ad revenue that they would generate from people going to the website.
True.
So it's gonna ruin the internet. It already has. The internet's already ruined. It's whatever. It's dead internet theory.
We predicted this like 2 years ago when we talked about the rise of AI.
Oh yeah.
You know,
when we first mentioned it, it was such a baby.
We were talking about VR. We were talking about VR. We were talking about
we were talking about like everything that it could be and like what it. At first, it was just ChatGPT with the people were like scared to use it, and now like it's the first thing people. I think literally today, I didn't even know if this was a thing it could do. I was confident that it just could do it. We were at the mall and like Hanan was searching for some outfits. My wife was searching for some outfits, and I told her, why don't you take a picture of the outfit or like put it together, whatever, and ask AI to like style it for you or like put it on someone. I'm sure if you did that, like AI would be able to do it.
It would. And you know what else it can do?
What?
Which is actually kind of crazy. And I did this before with our family picture. I was trying to find it in my history, ChatGPT, but I can't find it. You can upload a photo and say like, please edit this. But low-key, it does something kind of weird. And I'll do one here just for the sake of showing you. Like, I'll just use this random family photo of us.
Why are there pictures of my dad's bald head on your phone?
I forgot we took those.
I just see 2 pictures of the top of his head.
You notice how like I didn't even acknowledge it. Like I was just like, this is very normal.
I just see your camera roll as like normal family pictures and then 2 bald heads.
That's hilarious. He cut himself and we noticed it. We were like, well, those are pretty deep cuts on your head. Yeah, he does that a lot. No, they were like big.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, it's fine. It's not a big deal.
There's a lot of capillaries in your head, man. You will bleed a lot if you cut yourself. In your generally just your whole head in general. Yeah.
So look, can you edit this photo?
Yeah.
It asks me what kind. Just fix the lighting. And look what it does to the photo.
Do you even need the editor? You can say like, hey, just give us raw photos. We don't need to pay you for editing or whatever. Oh, it's gonna take some time.
No, it said there was a hiccup with the editing tool. Let me try again to apply the lighting.
How's there a hiccup with something that's like electronic? Like it should just be able to fix why tell us about the hiccup if you can just fix it yourself?
Okay, anyways, what I'm trying to tell you guys is that it literally changes everyone's faces.
What?
Yeah, I did our Eid photo. Remember the family one that we all took?
Yeah.
I uploaded that in here and I said, can you fix the lighting and blur the background?
Yeah.
And we all came out looking hella different. Like whoever they edited, that wasn't us. I'm going to show you.
You know why? Because like it was probably trained on like it's trained on other people's family photos, right? It doesn't have a reference for your family photo. So it's going to regenerate the whole image, not just the background.
But I specifically like watch. I put that photo and I said, "Can you blur the background?"
Mm-hmm. Because remember, AI doesn't know what it's putting up, right? Like, it doesn't have idea. It doesn't have like the context of like actual like individual pieces of the image. Like, it doesn't know that that's 8 different people in that photo. It just sees the colors and like it has context by referencing other photos. So when it's generating the new photo, like it doesn't have a context for like who that person is, or like it doesn't know how to generate that person exactly. So it kind of like finds something on the internet that looks very similar to it.
You don't think it's smart enough to recognize that there's 8 people in this photo?
Ask it how many people are in the photo.
All right, hold on.
Actually, it might be able to recognize like bodies, but it's kind of weird how AI works now. Like when someone I forgot, there was a video that explained like how AI like generates images, and it's not. It's smart but dumb.
Its intelligence is limited.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a nice way to say it.
Yeah, future AI, please. Have you
been seeing those memes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When they take over.
Y'all better start saying please and thank you to ChatGPT just in case.
Did you know I heard about like a cult called like the Zizians?
Oh my God.
Yeah, that.
What now?
Like they came out. So essentially, I don't know if you remember this. There's like this whole craze where a lot of people in San Francisco and Silicon Valley, they were kind of scared about like what's going to happen with AI. So like they're trying to develop AI in a way that they can kind of control it and give it some type of morals, because they were scared that it was going to eventually it would become smart enough to unalive everyone. Right? Or it might get a directive. Like there was one example given where it might get a directive to make like a button as efficiently as possible and just make as many as it can. And the machine, since the AI machine might be given that directive, eventually it might realize humans have like a certain part of them that makes buttons like super efficient and super easy to make and are super efficient. So it starts consuming humans, not because it's like evil and wants to unalive humans, but because it realized that humans help in making buttons more efficiently. It's a weird thing like that. But okay, that's a side thing. So there's that group who's trying to give them morals, and they're trying to like artificially give it morals by like, feeding it certain information, adjusting the coding, those kind of things. But then there's another group called the Zizians. Well, it's named after a girl called Ziz. Okay. So the followers of her are called Zizians.
Okay.
And their way of trying to manipulate AI or train it to be more moral is by literally changing like the moral fabric of society and like how we deal with things. So like they're super vegans, and like they don't believe in the killing of anything, because they believe that if we continue to kill things, that AI will use that as its moral base and understand and realize or come to the conclusion that killing for the greater good, or like for efficiency, or basically for the greater good, is okay. And at some point it might be like, oh, humans are destroying the world, so killing them or unaliving them, sorry, I'm using that word, I shouldn't be using that, especially that early in the podcast, but algorithm and all, but unaliving people will actually be better for the greater good, and start doing that. So like they're trying to essentially change society's morals so that AI will base its morals off of what the current society is, and not like some type of like individual's idea of what morality is, right? So you have those, but then the Zizians, like it turned out that they became extreme, and a small group of them, including Ziz, like was allegedly involved in trying to unalive their like landlord.
Weren't they just talking about not unaliving anything?
Yeah, that's why it's kind of weird. Like, okay, you're kind of going against your own morals here. And then they were like running around the whole country trying to escape the law, or like trying to,
fugitives,
get away. Yeah, exactly.
Damn.
And then they were caught in like Connecticut.
I was gonna say Wisconsin.
Yeah, I think one of them was in Wisconsin as well. There's like they're in Wisconsin. Random places, and they still got away that way, and they just kept getting away. And I think a couple of them were near the border, and a border patrol ended up getting unalived because they got into like a little spat, and they pulled out like pew pews and started shooting at them. I'm just saying.
What?
I don't even know how I came up with that topic, but that's related to one aspect of AI and how people are. Oh yeah, we were talking about like how AI might take over. So there's actually people who thought that they can, or still think that they can kind of control how AI will develop over time. Yeah, so it's interesting. But
are we even gonna live long enough to see that day? I don't know.
Inshallah, yeah. I want to still have kids over here. Over here, okay?
Yeah, inshallah, yes, I know. But I'm just saying, like, that's like extreme, like, conspiracy theory.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. You know what? I want to push that at like. I feel like we're living in. You know how they say like the bad timeline. I feel like we're in the bad timeline right now. So anything can happen. Okay.
Anything can happen. You're right.
Yeah.
But AI taking over, that's the least of our concern right now, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it is. It's one thing I was going to mention, which was the update on like the anti-consumer, I guess, anti-consumerism that we've been moving towards. And like, it's kind of also connected to another topic I want to mention, which is consumer consciousness. Because...
You touched on that a few weeks ago, right?
I talked about class consciousness.
Got it.
But this is like a byproduct of everything that's been going on.
Yeah.
So personally for us, like when it comes to the anti-consumer thing, like when I said that we're going to stop or like try and like limit our trips to major places like Walmart and shop more local, I thought it would be like a hard thing to do. Like, you know, maybe we would go back for certain things. I haven't been to Walmart in like 2 months. Literally for a long time. Before I was going every week, right? To the point where I literally had a Walmart card, right?
Did you?
Yeah. So because like no, the one thing I will give them is that if you have their card, their credit card, whatever, their points actually like make a huge difference. Like you'll get $20 if you spend every week, you'll get $20 like at least once a month, right?
That's not bad.
Which may not seem a lot in grand scheme of things, but that's like a membership to a streaming platform, right? So you're kind of saving money that way. That's how I like to think of these smaller things.
So it's not exclusive to just like your groceries?
It's just you can use the points on anything in Walmart. Sure, like the one thing I will say is that now you realize like how you kind of have to, like I mentioned, you kind of have to be more, I guess, selective, or like you kind of have to know how to be more flexible when it comes to the things that you're making and like what's available to you. Because when you do shop local, like certain things are not going to be available in your local spots. So you kind of have to be accustomed to that. Maybe either like start to modify your own meals that you're making, or be more conscious about like...
What are you missing out on?
So like, let's say you're looking for macadamia nuts.
Okay. That's very specific.
That's very specific. Yeah. But like your local shop, maybe people don't typically buy macadamia nuts over there, so they just don't carry them anymore.
So why don't you just go to Bulk Barn?
That's the thing. Like you might have to make that extra trip, or understand that, okay, now that you know that's not there, you're going to have to be like, next time when I'm in this area, I need to get this. Instead of, you know, typically people might be like, oh, let's go to Walmart and get everything. Right? Because you know that they will most likely have everything you need because it's so large, and because Walmart's ultimate goal is to close down those local shops, right? So they can be their one-stop shop for everyone, whether it be for groceries, for clothing, for electronics, everything. Mm-hmm. They want you to only go there, so they will make sure that they carry everything. Similar to like Amazon. And another thing about Amazon is like we haven't used Amazon in months either. And like, we actually recently even got an Amazon package, and we're like, why did we get an Amazon package? Like we didn't order anything. And the trick they did, we ordered something like a month or two ago, and it puts you on, or like 3 months ago, and it puts you like on it put us on the
the save and subscribe thing.
Yeah, that thing. I didn't realize it did that, right? Because it was like a certain vitamin or whatever.
Yeah.
So that we got that, but outside of that, we had not gone on Amazon. Like, I don't even look at Amazon anymore. Before, I used to like go on Amazon and just scroll it like every few days to see if there's something I might need.
High key, I do that too.
See?
Which is so bad, but
it brings back to that clip or that episode where we were talking about like your top 5 apps,
and
you said
Amazon. Yeah.
Yeah. So the 2 things that I would literally use every single week at least once, I no longer use anymore. And like, we purely shop local. And like, let's say there's something you would typically get at Amazon, and let's say like you wanted to get it new for certain reasons. Like, Amazon's not like the first step. Now you can just say like Canadian store for whatever you're looking for. And a lot of the stores, they offer shipping, so you can just order it from there. And a lot of the times, people don't realize this. I feel like Amazon realizes this or knows this, but you might even be able to find the item for cheaper.
Yeah.
Which is the case for, like, I was looking for a walking pad, right? And I could have gotten it very cheap on like Facebook Marketplace, but for a specific reason, I just need to get it new. And on Amazon, it was quoting me like $500, $400, $300, whatever. But I found like a Canadian brand that sells it for $200, right? So sometimes you might even find better deals just looking for local. So, and also like small items, Canadian Tire, your ultimate Canadian store right there. They have a lot of the items that you would usually typically get on Amazon.
I think Amazon is more so, it's not that you can get things exclusively.
It's a convenience.
Yeah, it's truly just the convenience. And especially if you're in like a major city where Amazon's pretty big, they also have that like next day shipping, or like if you order in 51 minutes, you can get it tomorrow morning at 4 a.m. I've done that before.
I've done that. Hey, we've all done that. Okay. Every one of us have done that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you realize that, like, of course, still people, I'm talking from place of privilege. I always gotta, acknowledge that. It's almost like a land acknowledgement for Aboriginal people. It's like
that's crazy. That's a crazy comparison.
It's like a privilege acknowledgement. But yeah, but for those who are able to do it, I feel like it may seem daunting, but it's not that hard once you make that switch. We did it kind of cold turkey, but it's something. I'm a proof that you can do it. As someone who was like an ultimate consumer, is that what you call it?
A shopaholic?
No, I wasn't even a shopaholic. I would just like, when it came to my first option for going to buy something, it would either be Walmart or Amazon, and now it's neither of those. I
mean, honestly, like, because I know we talk about like just being conscious of our consumer tendencies, and I know that I am a recovering shopaholic. Okay, I know. I several times have purchased things that like I really didn't need, but like it's just like, oh, this is nice to have. And so what I have discovered is that sometimes it truly becomes a habit, like the whole browsing Amazon to see what should I buy today. Like I'm just in the mood to spend money, which is like, it's a psychological thing even. So you know what I figured out?
What?
Especially when it comes to shopping for clothes, because it's like, there's so many reasons of why, right? Like, one, you're going into work and you're like, oh, I need new work clothes, or like, oh, that's a cute outfit on that person, like I want to get something similar. I need to like, you're constantly, it's like always in your face, whether it's through people in real life or it's through social media, which is what most people are consuming on a day-to-day basis for hours at a time. And so it's like I would subconsciously find myself pulling up the apps to like different clothing stores that I shop at. And like just browsing, like, okay, what's new? And I'd like shop around, and I would sometimes just buy like drop $250 like it was nothing
on clothing.
And like I knew it got bad to a point where, don't judge, okay? We listen and we don't judge. Deal?
We listen and we don't judge. Okay.
There have been several instances where I've spent like hundreds of dollars, ordered a bunch of things, tried things on, didn't like how they fit, and I'd be like, especially when I'm going on vacation, I'm like, okay, I'm going to return it. And then I'd like go on vacation or do whatever it is I'm doing and completely forget about it. And then I come back and like weeks, months go by and I'm like, what's that pile of stuff sitting over there? I look at it. I'm like, oh, I need to return this now. And I quickly look up like the
return policy.
It's usually like 30 days. Or if it's like online, then you have to like ship it back. It's so annoying.
Essentially, it's yours now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do I have several items at home with tags still on it? Yeah, I do.
Hey, there are websites for that.
I know.
The websites that anti-consumers like me are on.
Poshmark?
Either Poshmark. Well, I'm not on Poshmark, but like, you know, the same idea. Poshmark.
Facebook Marketplace.
Well,
yeah. And so like to combat that habit of just like buying for the sake of buying, what I do now is if I have the urge to shop, I'll allow myself to go on the app. We don't want to restrict. Okay. I go on the app. I browse.
Yeah.
I pick things out. I add it to my cart. And that's it. I leave it there.
Leave it there. I know.
Leave it there. And I always get the notifications. We saved this for you, Sephora, #1 culprit. We saved this for you.
And actually, that was something that people used to say, like, do that if you want to get discounts. Because a lot of times when you leave things in the cart.
That's the only way I buy my contacts.
Yeah, you always, exactly.
20% coupon every single time.
Yeah, so that's like a little trick for y'all. Not that I'm saying to be a consumer. I'm just saying, okay, if you ever, if you need the item, just leave it in the cart there. And then like wait like a day or so and you'll get an email. Not even a day sometimes a few hours. And they'll send you an emails being like, hey, here's a discount if you still one of those items.
And you know what? Like, obviously the science works.
Yeah.
Like, people have degrees for this kind of stuff. And that's how they have been able to have such successful businesses. But I think as people are becoming more and more just like aware of different social issues, companies have to get more creative with how they shop. And so like I went through this like not phase but like this epiphany, this realization maybe a couple weeks ago where I was like scrolling on my TikTok and like every video was an ad to like skincare brand or makeup brand or clothing or bags or shoes or just constant advertising and selling you something that I was just like, wow, like, and it's crazy because sometimes I almost feel like I'm in a trance when I'm on TikTok. Do you ever feel like that?
Yeah.
Where I'm truly like in a trance and I'm just like scroll, and like 2 hours could go by and I'm like, oh my god, I need to get up.
Yeah. The thing,
so bad.
Yeah, for me, it's I get in a trance, but I'm also the type of person who can't like sit down and be on something. I have to be doing something, but I will be in a trance while doing it. So like I have a problem where I'll be on TikTok, I'll be walking around with it in the house. I'll be like, I'll go to the kitchen and I'll start like cooking while like TikTok's going on. I'll be like flipping through it, doing my thing. I'll be like washing dishes or like getting dishes. TikTok will be playing. If I'm doing something will be playing at the same time. I just have that issue. I just
like, it's kind of scary.
Like, well, like they made it like that on purpose, right? But like to talk about consumerism in general, I feel like this is also tied to everything that's going on right now, like with the tariffs and all that. I feel like it's one of the silver linings from this is that people are being more consumer conscious.
I was gonna say,
yeah,
everyone's only freaking out about the tariffs because they're like, oh my god, everything's gonna be expensive.
Yeah,
and not talking about food, but like shopping.
Yeah,
you know how many people are like, thank God I shipped my Shein package.
Hey, if those tariffs they get hit when they're here. So, you know, it could even in transport, but they did say like if it's already in transport, it's not going to get the tariff. But you never know, man. They're already not following the law for the most part. Yeah. So they might still hit you anyways. But yeah, like people are being more, especially in Canada. Yeah. People are being more consumer conscious. They're seeing how everything is kind of connected. But like I saw an ad today on like a billboard while driving on the highway where it was talking about crispers and it was like, it's
proudly Canadian.
No, it's like not a chip, not a blah blah, and it said not a American. So now it's literally like it's something to add to the advertisement to advertise that they're not connected with America because they realize that people are being more consumer conscious now. And are like, you know, the thing that the people, especially who are more progressive, I guess, have always been pushing for more like shopping local. But now because of these tariffs, like people are kind of forced to, or feel like more, it's almost like national pride now to shop local, right? So it's kind of a roundabout way of getting people to shop local, which is something that we always want, right? You always want to shop and support local businesses. And this is kind of going to be helping those companies, especially here in Canada, because like the national pride has been like increasing daily here because of all the stuff that's been going on.
Well, we'll see if it'll last post-election.
No, I feel like it'll only grow because technically it's not even connected to the election. It's more connected to the tariffs.
Yes, but I also feel like we could lose hope in Canada depending on
like who wins.
Yeah, and how it goes.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
I feel like it's clear who's gonna win this thing. I'm not gonna say, you can just go out there and vote if you're Canadian, for our Canadian listeners out there, and make a plan for it too, because like I realize,
don't be like Amir.
No, I realize that I'm not even gonna be here on the actual voting day, so I have to make sure I'm there for early voting polls, right? So if you know you're not gonna be here on, I think it's like April 27th or 28th for the voting day, like the early voting is a week before on the 20th. And it's longer too, so they're open for longer and for more days. So I'd prefer suggest to do that. Also, not as many lines, so that's something to look out for. But generally, I feel like consumer, and also on even the American side, like people are being more, they're kind of forced to be more conscious of where they're getting their things, right? And they're kind of getting the bad end of the stick, at least in America, because in Canada here, like, we're doing it. We're not really affected by what's all the tariffs, because the main export from America right now is less about products and more of their culture. I feel like America's biggest export is its culture. Sure, there are like certain items and stuff and like groceries. Yeah, some of those things might go up, but I feel like Canada has enough to where if you just avoid those products, like we can live without them, right? We don't need, I don't know, as much corn as they might give us or whatever products we get from America. But the tariffs will mainly be an issue with America because they're currently fighting with China. We're not fighting with China, so hopefully our products don't increase in price as much as it will over there, right? At least that's what I hope, because typically how it normally has broken down, at least for people who might not know, when it comes to like Canada and America, just think of like whatever the price of an item is in America, it would be that price here in Canada plus the conversion. So like if something was like $50, or let's say something was $100 in America, it would be $170 or $130 here.
I'm checking the conversion.
Yeah, because 70 cents right now. Yeah, $138 here, or $139.99 or something like that, right? But now with like the tariffs, I feel like if the companies are, have some moral fiber, they will not. I know, okay, but like
BFFR.
I feel like with 100% tariff, which is what they currently have 125% tariff that they currently have on China in America, I feel like if they doubled the prices in America, it would make sense for them to double the prices here too. And like it would be clear that they're just doing it to make money, because in Canada we don't have those same tariffs, right? Maybe there's some products that come to America and then come to Canada, but I'm sure they could just reroute those things. And I think Canada's already working on doing that with a lot of countries, of rerouting certain items that originally went through America. But if we see that increase, then we can ride on the streets. But for now, like it's gonna be funny how like the tables have kind of turned. Yeah. And even our dollar is getting stronger here too.
It's about time.
Yeah.
It's about time.
So like it's gonna be weird seeing like America's maybe trying to come over to Canada. Remember when that was a big thing early 2000s, where we used to go down to America because they had the cheaper products
and shop there. Yeah. And our dollars were not too far off where it was worth it for us to
exactly.
shop.
So maybe we might see more Americans coming here, because that is a big thing where they said like, even the video that I was watching made by CBC, this guy in BC who makes a lot of good like breakdowns, he said that the consumer sentiment or whatever, I think it says like 62% of Canadians said that they will stop purchasing American products in solidarity with this whole situation, which is huge, right?
That is huge.
But also like the tourism I think they said it was down by 30%, either 30 or 70. It was one of those ways. It was like down. It's down by a significant amount.
Probably 30.
Probably 30% of Canadians going down south. But that accounts for billions of dollars of investment
100%.
into the country, right? So, like, it is making huge impact, and it is creating more of like a divide, and the whole like annexing Canada and like taking it over, whatever, is not going to actually happen. Like, that was a whole thing. You clearly see he hasn't even said it in a while. So that was kind of just to rile up. Honestly, it worked in our favor, right? Because it brought a certain like sense of national pride here.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, to go back to the consumer consciousness, like I feel like now people are more conscious about where they're buying their things, and hopefully when this does kind of settle down, that consciousness will continue to grow, and people will continue to support local businesses, and it will only like, grow our economy, right?
I hope so. That would be really cool if we had an expansion in local grocery shops, so that we weren't always being forced to go to like the big box names. Is that the phrase, big box names?
Big box stores, is that? Yeah, I'm gonna say big box stores. Yeah.
Okay.
I give Costco a pass though. I've been Costco.
Costco's ride or die.
Yeah.
Sorry.
They support their workers. They treat them well,
and the return policy is fantastic.
Exactly. I've only heard good things about Costco. Okay.
Yeah.
And they stay in their lane. They only carry bulk items, okay, for the most part. So they know where they're best at, and they stick to that.
Yeah, but like I'm even thinking about like, we have Canadian grocery stores. Like there's Real Canadian Superstore. There's No Frills, but Loblaws. Weston Family's in a little bit of hot water.
After the sales downs, we'll get back to the whole oligarchy thing. Okay.
No, I'm just saying like we obviously Walmart is a grocery store giant. Yeah. We know, but I'm saying we also have other options here. They're just not the cheapest.
Yeah, but they have tiers,
Do they?
for the common folk. Yeah, the peasants, as they might call it. I mean, like if you want to go to like a cheaper place, you're going to No Frills, right? If you want to up your game a little bit, you might go to like a Loblaws, right?
Isn't I think Real Canadian Superstore is the medium, and then
is Real Canadian Superstore the medium?
Isn't it the same?
Okay, maybe Real Canadian Superstore is like your medium,
and then Loblaws is the higher end. No.
Yeah, Loblaws, but there's a third one, isn't there? It's Sobeys.
Longos.
Oh, Sobeys is a different one. They all get mixed up, man. Longos is like West End only.
And East End.
Is it?
It's like the GTA, but it's not in Toronto.
Do you have a Longos near you?
Near my brother.
Oh, yeah. See, it's only outside. They don't have it in Scarborough.
Like Durham region.
They're racist. Okay, Longos, I just don't like Longos because they don't have one in Scarborough. So I feel like...
And West End also has Fortinos, which is also, I think, a thing of...
Yeah, there are certain things that they do not allow to come into... Scarborough,
high key there, that's racist.
Yeah.
Okay. They only left us with Walmart, No Frills.
Walmart, No Frills, Food Basic. Shout out to Food Basic.
Yeah. Is that what it's called? No, it's called something else.
Yeah, Food Basic. Oh. There's an Indian version. Like there's one that's specifically is a Food Basic, but they like Indianified it.
What's the other one?
Huh?
What's the other one?
What, Sobeys? Metro?
No.
Metro!
Oh, yeah, Metro. But no, there's another one.
What?
There's another one.
Which one?
The lime green one. What's it called again?
That's Food Basic, no?
No.
Oh.
Fresco.
Yeah, Fresco. Shout out to Fresco, too. We get all the cheaper brands.
That's racist.
We have like one Loblaws and like one Sobeys.
Yeah, that's actually where's the Sobeys in Scarborough?
Maybe we don't have a Sobeys.
That's like East York ish.
Yeah. So,
anyways,
we're kind of struggling out here, but you know what?
Yeah.
Shout out to Scarborough, man. That's what we in the trenches out here.
No, Scarborough's a nice place. It has tiers too, though.
The one thing we can always say we have is the Bluffs.
We have the Bluffs.
We have a
STC.
beach. It's actual sand. Okay.
We have STC.
Yeah, SCC. SCC is kind of, losing some of its shine, apparently. We were there today.
Really? It's losing its shine?
Like, it
I feel like
they
have an IKEA.
They're closing down the Hudson Bay. So that shows
that
gives you an idea. But like, what are they going to replace it with? That's like a 3-floor store. They've been there forever.
I don't know. Yeah, what are they gonna put there?
I don't know. Like, what would be? I don't know what they're gonna replace it with, but I feel like it needs another revival. Like they've revived their look, but now they need to revive their stores.
I would
bring
be
in more high-end stuff.
if they opened a Target.
Ew, they're not bringing Target back to Canada.
I feel like they're gonna try again.
Are they? They tried Zellers. Actually, they tried to bring Zellers in that Hudson Bay, which is kind of sad because they tried to like revive Zellers within a store that was dying. So they kind of died twice, which is really sad.
They just needed a market, like a rebrand, like a really strong rebrand, and they couldn't do it.
Yeah. And like it was on like the 3rd floor, hidden in a corner.
In the Eaton Center, really, right?
Oh no, I'm talking about the one that's in the
here too?
Center. Yeah.
Okay, because I was at the Eaton Center this week.
Oh, I didn't see that one. Yeah.
And this is a total side note, because I don't like. Although I work downtown, I go to work and I go straight home. I don't explore, you know. Mm-hmm. But I was at a work dinner, and we went to sushi. You know, the one that's beside the Eaton Center, Spring Sushi.
Oh yeah, the one on the top floor.
Yes. So we walked there because, like, who's gonna drive?
Yeah.
And we took the path, which was fine because it was raining. But you know when you have to go outside near H&M at the Eaton Center to cross the street at Yonge and Dundas?
Yeah.
So here's the thing, and this was a very sad observation. Is I know that the government increased the amount of safe injection sites, therefore causing a huge rise in...
Oh, is that why in the square of like Yonge and Dundas is like a lot more users? Yeah. I'm not calling them users, okay?
You sure you don't use that term?
You know, I'm trying to be more.
If you want to be a real Toronto man, you gotta call them by their name.
What?
You don't know their names?
Like individually, like Mark Henry. What?
I was thinking of Buck Tees.
Oh my god. No. These are people who are in the middle of addiction cycles and just need help. Okay, Sara?
Absolutely. But do we really think that safe injection sites are the best way to go about it?
You know, I feel like location is important. Maybe not next to a school. That might have been a little sad. Because there's a school right around that corner too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But let me tell you what I encountered.
2 schools, actually.
So... Upon completing our dinner, we had to walk back to the Eaton Center.
Yeah.
And we were going to take the escalator down so that we could walk back through the path.
Yeah.
And there was a woman who was in a wheelchair and said, I'm going to take the escalator down.
Oh, one of your coworkers?
No, it was a user.
Oh, okay.
In a wheelchair.
Yeah.
And she was trying to go down the escalator in her wheelchair.
Not the elevator that's right next to it?
Yeah, I don't know if there's...
There's elevators,
there is an elevator.
Yeah.
So this poor man was like, ma'am, I don't think you should do that. And she hit him and starts screaming at the top of her lungs. And he like held onto her wheelchair to prevent her from going down. And everyone's watching. No one else was intervening because they're all scared of her.
Yeah, it's also the whole standby effect.
Yeah, but he like truly was like stopping. Like he held onto her chair and she was hitting him.
Yeah.
And then eventually she like wheeled away from the thing. And then everyone resumed and just got back on the escalator. But I just like, I felt so bad because he was just trying to be a good Samaritan and she like was hitting the poor guy.
Well, yeah, they're also like not really in the right mind at that moment. Especially if they're trying to go down an escalator in their wheelchair.
She's
unless she pulled out some move where she's like on her back wheels, like just knows how to go down it by herself.
She's like, I've done this before, leave me alone. And he was like, yeah.
Honestly, I would have been like, okay, let's see it.
Well, my coworker,
yeah,
I nudged him. I'm like, go do something. And he's like, no, she's gonna bite me. And I was just like,
she a zombie now?
Right.
Yeah.
I was like, relax. He's like, no, I don't want to like. Listen, she said she's done it before. Let's just see.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, because then she's going to fall down, get injured, and then the escalator is going to stop. And then we won't be able to go down.
Take the stairs. Hit that emergency stop button. Done.
Either way, it hit me that, one, I'm scared to walk around in my own city.
Okay.
Because as we continued
it's not that bad.
We continued on our journey.
I guess as a woman, it's different, yeah.
And then there were more.
Oh, okay.
users.
Where is the safe injection site specifically? Like,
I think
remember
it's like near Sherborne, maybe Shooter. Like it's close by to that Yonge and Dundas area.
Yeah.
It's close to there.
Okay.
Because I've seen them before at like 7 a.m. in a lineup.
I think the issue is also
great.
housing. Like, I feel like for a lot of like unhoused people like that, they gotta like, when you give them areas where you can safely inject, like, where do you go from there? It's like, do you just let them go back out on the street? Why not? Because like, first off, if they are using on the streets, it's not safe to begin with to be on the street, because first off, it makes them unpredictable, and also makes it unsafe for them because they might do something to themselves that's going to harm themselves and maybe even harm others. So you might as well give them both a place to safely inject and like hopefully wean them off and like help with what is it called again? Rehabilitation?
Yeah.
Yeah, rehabilitation, but also give them a place to stay to make it easy. Because a lot of times, like, a big reason or a big countermeasure to it is just giving them a place to stay, like a place to feel safe. I feel like that can be help. That will definitely help with the situation.
We definitely have a shortage in like
in shelters.
Shelters, yeah. And like not just a shortage, but even in the ones that are available, they're not clean or
and they're also not safe. Yeah.
Yeah. So like people actually would rather sleep on the streets.
And that was a big issue too. Yeah.
Yeah. And unfortunately, like it's not even, for some reason, it's not a priority for the Canadian government.
It's also a big part of it is also because it's illegal for them to be in the shelter, or they're not allowed to be in a shelter while still being a user. They're not allowed to, which is a big reason why they want to stay in the streets.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that rule. And it's sad because, you know, like imagine we were just walking from Eaton Center back to like the financial district area. And that's like maybe a 15, 20-minute walk.
Yeah.
And the amount of users we encountered, and some are just minding their own business. That's fine. But there are some that are a little bit more like rowdy.
Yeah, but I feel like a lot of times if you just like mind your own business, you'll be fine for the most part. Like they won't really 100%, approach you. Yeah,
that's true. But then there are some that will just scream in your face just because.
Okay, maybe I just never encountered that.
Like I'm not even joking. One day I was just driving home from work, and I was parked at stopped at a red light, and this guy literally was like going up to each car and like hitting the passenger side window because we're going this way, and I watched him. I said, "This man better not touch my car, because if he does, I'm gonna hit him." And then the light turned green, and I said, "Thank God!" And I just zoomed by him.
Yeah,
but he was so close. Like that's the thing. Like they're not safe. We're not safe. Like no one's winning.
There's
in this
definitely
case.
like a solution to this, but unfortunately, like the governments just don't make it a priority. It's kind of a sad thing, and it's
they don't
only
make that
worse.
a priority. They don't make healthcare a priority. They don't make education. Like what's the priority then?
Because, and especially if things are going to keep getting worse economically, like things they say are going to start getting better. Well, they always say that, right? But
false promises.
Yeah, because of what happened with like the pandemic and all that, like it destroyed people financially and led to these things. So it only grew after that, and nothing was done about it, right? So this is expected. It should be expected to happen.
This
like what's the growth in this this like
issue?
Yeah, homeless people or like unhoused people in the streets is, especially if nothing has been, because of nothing has been done about it. Like we shouldn't be surprised that these numbers have been growing, and like the incidents that were happening are also increasing. Because remember there was a big thing like a few months ago where people were getting attacked in the TTC.
Yeah, it's
because like just the number of people on the streets and the number of users on the streets have been increasing.
Yes, because
of the current economic crisis that pretty much the world went through and is going through.
Like I know like people joke about it sometimes and stuff, but like when you actually stop and think about it, it's very sad. It's truly very sad. Like it makes me feel like I feel uncomfortable, even like not in the sense that like, oh, I don't want you to be around me, but I feel bad for them. Like the fact that they would much rather sleep outside than go to a shelter is like heartbreaking. I don't know.
Yeah, and no one wants to find the right solution. They just want to put them in jail, cost everybody more money. It's a bigger issue that can have a whole video on it by itself.
I know.
The big thing this week, I know I always go into my politics. We already covered politics a little bit anyways. But the big thing this week was that like everybody's going kind of crazy over these tariffs that we were talking about. Everyone was getting hit. All the countries. Everyone's like, what are we going to do? Everything. And then I think it was on like Tuesday or something. Trump was like, you know what? Let's give it another 90 days. And he just like stopped tariffs completely. Technically he left sub like 10% or whatever, but it's not as bad as it originally was. And first off, that kind of just like went against everything that he was saying.
Yeah.
Right? Because his whole point of doing this was to bring back manufacturing to America. And how exactly is this going to help with bringing back manufacturing to your country? Right? He's right now trying to flip it and say like, oh, you know, this is a negotiating tactic, whatever. But everyone said the fact that he did it at first this way didn't make sense. And now you're taking it off doesn't make sense. Nothing's making sense. But the one thing that people are kind of pointing out now is that the reason it doesn't make sense is because he kind of knows that it doesn't make sense. And at the end of the day, he's just doing this to make his buddies more money. Sorry. Did it spill?
Yeah.
No!
Sorry. I know. I want to like put it out of the frame.
It's all good. It's a high little spill.
Slipping through my fingers.
What was I saying?
I'm just kidding.
What was I saying?
I was trying to pay attention, I swear, but it spilled and I lost.
Oh yeah, but now people are like pointing out that maybe it wasn't supposed to make sense the whole time. It was really just a way to make his friends more money, because the morning that before he announced that he was going to take off these tariffs, people were noticing that like there was a spike after the fact. Of course, they noticed that there was like a spike in buyers, like large buyers into the market. And I think that same morning he also made a tweet, like a cryptic tweet saying like, now is a great time to buy, right? And literally like an hour or like a few hours later, he announced that he was taking the tariffs off for the most part, and it just blew up. Like the market just went straight up, like it went 10% in one day, which is the biggest it's grown in one day, the stock market. And I think like a day later or a few days later, there's a video that came out that leaked from the White House where he had a bunch of billionaires in there laughing. This is like the most like this is like gold for conspiracy theorists. Yet they're all ironically on the other side, on Trump's side, which is like a whole like mind F in another different way. But he was like bragging about how his friends made $900 million, billions of dollars from him announcing taking off the tariffs. So he's like joking about literally what is called insider trading.
Yeah.
Right. And people are saying that tweet he made in the morning, or that, I know, True Social message, whatever tweet that he made in the morning, was just so he can kind of to cover for the people that he told initially that he was going to do this.
Like to be like, well, at least I told everyone.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Because then those people who made money that he had in there, if there's someone to come after them, or the law would come after them, they could say, oh no, he just made this tweet and I bought in. Right. So it's clearly like, it's clear as day that there was insider trading going on, especially even with Congress members who were buying like a day or two before or the day of. And just because he's the leader of the country and he has everyone's like, he's basically like threatened everyone who can go against him. No one's doing anything about it. And somehow the people who would normally be calling him out for this, or calling anyone out for this like deep state conspiracy, are on his side. So that's why I say we're living in like the wrong or the bad timeline, because this is in another time, like this would not be happening. This would be called out immediately. If it was a different person, this would be called out immediately. But just because it's him, it's not happening. And it's like the most frustrating thing in the world, right? And the thing is, like, now I'm like, with all this going on, like people are losing out on their retirement funds, on their 401ks, just like I mentioned last week. And he's doing it all just so he can make his like buddies billions and millions of dollars.
This is like some crazy, corrupt, like inside job type of situation. And you know,
they're laughing. They're literally laughing in people's faces.
Yeah, people.
And they're and they're smiling back.
Amir, gone are the days where people do things that are that used to be considered shameful. They don't do it in private anymore.
Yeah.
They do it like in your face.
Yeah.
And you know, I was because you know in the past we've always referred to like Gen Z as the outspoken generation that'll always stand up for the truth, and like the crazy thing is that he's threatened people so much with, especially in the United States, with like they no longer, I mean they never had freedom of speech, but like they really don't have freedom of speech, and they're so limited on what they post on social media now, whether it's about, you know, what's happening in Palestine or really any sort of political issue that is considered anti-Trump rhetoric. They get penalized, whether it's getting kicked out of school, loss of jobs, blacklisted if you're in the entertainment industry.
And now there's a precedence for it with Mahmoud Khalid, right?
Yeah.
Like I think it was Louisiana, or I can't forget which state it was specific. Was it Louisiana? Yeah, the judge there said, the government can try and deport him from the country for him like associating with certain groups or saying certain statements. Basically for speaking out. Literally, he said, it's okay, you know, free speech, forget about that.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, and now, sure, he has the time to kind of build his own case and file an appeal, but the likelihood of that passing, especially with Trump in office now, you know, it's not as high. So we might see a case where someone was literally kicked out of a country for speaking up.
It's just such a scary
just for speaking
time to live in. You're being told what to think. You're being told what to say. You're being told how to act, what to believe in. Like, that's just, you might as well call America a communism state. Communism?
No, this is not
communist country.
This is fascism.
Is this fascism?
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah, where you have like a leader who
pretends like he's
no, he's not. It's not pretending. A leader who essentially, like, he has say over everything that goes on.
Does he though?
Yeah, he has fingers in everything, whether it be what people can say, what people can do, what companies can do, all those things. Like, he has the ability to control all of that.
Yeah.
So
that's basically okay.
So that and it's already
Fascism is different.
Huh?
Fascism is what you described as authoritarianism.
Wait, can you explain what fascism is?
Fascism is when there's everything works and to benefit one group.
Oh.
And everyone else is considered an enemy or, you know, not as important as this group. So fascism is
like the rich in America.
Okay, so she basically said that like fascism is where everything is done to support just one group. Like, let's say in this case it would be like
rich white men.
Yeah. And like everyone else is considered an enemy who is not working towards that cause.
But you're saying that America's more so like an authoritarian.
No, they're moving towards the more fascism because it's clear that the things that they're supporting, the people that they're going after, it's all towards a more ethnically white, is it called ethno or mono-ethnic state?
Whiteness is not an ethnic.
I know, I was gonna say.
Ethnic state. Yeah.
They're not.
Yeah, white supremacy. Sorry, I don't know why I'm trying to go. Basically, white supremacy. Yeah. So, hopefully, you know, the people still have the power in their hands to get out in the streets. People are scared right now, but
we should be. We're going to the States soon.
Yeah, exactly. Like literally, someone today when I don't know how. There's someone I've known for years, and they just found out that I have a podcast. I know, but then again, like this is someone that I just they're much older, not much older, but they're older. So usually I don't even bring up the podcast. We just talk about other things, right?
Who is this?
Huh? Oh, Theo.
He didn't know you had a
podcast? I thought he knew. I feel like I mentioned it before, but yeah. So he was when he found out that I had a podcast and like I was going to America soon. He's like, you sure you're going to America? You're like, you sure you're gonna make over that border? Because that's like something people have to fear right now, right? Mm-hmm. Because now it's almost guaranteed, not guaranteed, but most likely that they will look through your social media and see who you are. Mm-hmm. I guess you're gonna find out first.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna end the episode there. It's been a long night. It's like 11 p.m. right now. But we're getting ready to hit the road officially again. I don't know. It's gonna sound the same, but if you did like anything that we talked about today, just make sure, hit that like button or subscribe to the podcast. Subscribe to the podcast.
Become part of the under 10K family.
Exactly. Yeah. Right now you're an exclusive club, okay? Because you're under 10K. So get your ticket and no, like for being under 10K. I don't know. It's just a thing. If people say, I'm going to see.
Okay.
Like the video. Leave a comment if you liked anything or want to give your opinion on anything we talked about today. But outside of that, we'll see y'all next week. Bye.